And friends, now we have what you have been waiting for a long time, our famous and world-famous science star, Mr. Kabir Bedi, is going to talk to us that do we have the choice? Let's have a presentation on Mr. Kabir Bedi.
Kabir Bedi began his career in Indian theatre and then moved on to Hindi films. He remains one of the first international actors from India to have originated from Bollywood, worked in Hollywood, and become a star in Europe. Kabir Bedi has performed in a wide range of roles, from Shakespeare's Othello to the Far Pavilions, a West End musical adaptation. He is best known for acting in the James Bond film Octopussy and remains the only Bollywood actor to appear in a James Bond movie. Kabir Bedi has acted in over 60 Indian Bollywood films and is still going strong. He is a regular contributor to Indian publications, including The Times of India, on political and social issues affecting the country. Kabir Bedi has won numerous film, advertising and popularity awards across Europe and India. He has received the highest ranking civilian honor of the Italian Republic and was bestowed the title of Knight of the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a man for all seasons, Kabir Bedi.
Distinguished Rotarians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, thank you for that very kind introduction. I'm so delighted to be here at this historic summit in this historic city, Delhi, the capital of India. I was educated in this city. I went to Delhi Public School before going off to Sherwood in Nainital, and then returning to Delhi to graduate from St. Stephen's College in Delhi University. Like all of you, like many, I remember the teachers that inspired me, touched me, shaped me, enabled me to become who I became. And before I begin, I'd like to thank each one of them for the role they played in my life. I bow my head in gratitude to all. And I salute every one of you here for being today especially a symbol of a cause that's very dear to me, which is education. My sister spent her entire life being a teacher of children with special needs. Alas, for me, she lives in Boston and has done most of her work out there. But through her, I got a far greater understanding of the needs of child development, and especially children that are handicapped, or even on the other end of the scale, extra brilliant, and how lives can be transformed through the attention they get, through the systems that they go through in education. I really want to congratulate the Rotarians on this mission of total literacy in South Asia by 2017. It's ambitious because you've set a 4-year time frame. It's essential because we are sitting on a demographic time bomb. And it is urgent because I believe that if people don't get the right education in this country, it will lead to revolution, blood on the streets, and social disorder on a scale that we cannot even imagine. So my interest in education is not just some woolly-headed liberal, oh, education is good for everybody, everybody must get educated in a sort of general idealistic way, which is good. My concern for education comes from my fear for India's survival and my desire for India's success. I've only got a few minutes here, so I just want to paint this picture in very broad brushstrokes, because I feel unless there is a revolution in education, starting at the primary level, we will have revolution on the streets. Now, as far as Indian education is concerned, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let us salute what we have first. You know, the scheme of universalization of education, the Sarva Shikshan Abhiyan, is the largest educational initiative in the world. And the right to education, which makes education free for children from 6 to 14. The right to education has given that scheme the force of law, which is amazing, to have legislation, to have programs in place. We can talk about their improvement, we can talk about what more needs to be done, but let us not deny what we do have and what has been done. Now, according to the ASER Education Report 2012, 96.5 rural children between the ages of 6 and 14 were enrolled in school. You can dispute these figures, they might be up and down, you can dispute the quality, but it is still a remarkable figure. At the college level, India's higher education system is the third largest in the world after China and the United States. That's no small accomplishment. Great achievements. But we know that there are huge gaps. As Professor Amartya Sen said, in India, we have islands of excellence in a Sahara of poverty. And the same is true of our educational system. As many speakers have mentioned, 80% of all schools are government schools, making government the main provider of education. We also know there is a major problem with the quality of that education. 27% of Indian students are educated privately. What about the other 73%? What kind of education are they getting to prepare them for the life and challenges ahead, to fulfill their hopes, their desires? As far as universities are concerned, most universities in India are controlled by the union and state governments. We have some great universities. We have some great institutes. But the fact is, India has failed to produce enough truly world-class universities. We have 659 universities, 33,000 colleges, and yet perhaps 2 or 3 among the world's top universities. I mentioned university education, even though your mission is more to do with literacy and getting people the basic skills of reading, writing, arithmetic, the 3 R's plus the new skills that are needed in the modern world. But the fact is, the malaise in higher education it stems from the malaise at the base level. The Prime Minister said our university system is in a state of disrepair. Almost half the districts in the country, higher education enrollments are abysmally low, and 2/3 of our university and 90% of our colleges are rated below average on quality parameters. According to studies, 75% of technical graduates, 85% of general graduates are unemployable by India's most demanding and high-growth global industries. So, this is a kind of chain reaction that begins from the lowest level upwards. And then add to the fact that we are sitting on a demographic time bomb. This is not a static population. As Ashok Kamath pointed out, we will be the youngest country in the world. Every third person in an Indian city today is a youth. In 7 years, by 2020, the median age in India will be 29 years. And current predictions suggest that the youth population will be 464 million by the year 2021. So if 75% of technical graduates, 85% of general graduates are unemployable, if people are being undereducated from the lowest levels upwards, what does that portend to you? Do the math. think of the social implications of this gap. So it is not just an ideal to be reached, it is a matter, as I see it, a matter of India's survival and a matter of India's success. As Sushil Gupta mentioned Victor Hugo's quote, "It is better to build schools for boys than jails for men." So, this Rotarian mission of total literacy is something that has my complete support. And I realize that this is not just a problem of education in the classroom. There are huge problems. There are massive teacher vacancies. There are this policy of not failing children, which is causing all kinds of distortion in the educational field. There are barriers to entry for people wanting to start schools. There is the patronage of politicians that makes schools that often are substandard and prevent others from making schools that could be high quality. There is the problem of over-regulation of educational institutions, under-regulation in certain cases, too many regulatory authorities. There is the problem of child labor. There is the question of facilities. Many girl children in India don't go to school because there are no toilet facilities for girls. Where do girls go when they go to school? Parents don't send them. So, when the Rotarians launch a mission of this importance, they, as an organization, have the ability to divide the problem into the sum of its parts, focus on those parts, and make a cohesive, holistic attack on the deficiencies within the system, not just within the classroom, but at the human level, at the teacher level, at the student level, at the facilities level. This is possible because the Rotarians are successful people, educated people, doers. And this is the area, according to me, that needs doing the most. I believe this should be taken up on a war footing. Because, as Edmund Burke said, that education is the chief defense of a nation. I would like to remind all of you that India used to be the land of education. From Vedic times, there have been systems of Vedic education that existed. For 1600 years, from 400 BC, at the time of Takshashila, to 1200 AD, when Nalanda was there, we had some of the finest universities in the world, while Europe and the rest of the world was in the dark ages. We can recover that glory in education again. I sincerely believe that. And as I said, I salute your mission. I will support it in any way you want. And I'd like to close with a quote from Aristotle, who said, "All those who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bedi, for a very thought-provoking presentation. And you're right, we are sitting on a time bomb and we have no choice. Invite past Governor Ramesh Agrawal to make an expression of our gratitude.